How you doing, Lady Gilmore?
Oh, peace and good day, Pastor. I'm doing well. Oh, I'm grateful, grateful, grateful. The Lord popped these big eyes open this morning, gave me the activities of my limb, and kept my mind sound. So I'm grateful and I'm happy. I'm exceedingly happy today. I am surrounded with my sisters and my brother that I've known over 30 something years, and we yet still are brothers and sisters and supporting each other, encouraging each other. That's what I love about the brother and sisterhood that we have, Pastor. We always there one for another. And it is true with my brothers and sisters that's here today. I'm just a phone call away, and that's all it takes. But I'm excited. I have with me today my sister of a mighty, mighty, mighty long time, Dr. Pamela. And on my right, I have here Sister December Rose. We have a play coming to town, a wonderful play that's coming to town. And I'm going to let Dr. Pamela tell us about herself, give us her story and how it's led up to today about the play. And we want you to please listen because this is another important play that Dr. Pam has written. Peace and good day, my sister.
Hey, I'm excited about being here.
We're excited to have you.
She mentioned for me to say a little bit about the play, Pieces of Me. Pieces of Me is about dealing, healing, and moving forward.
All right.
We have 8 women from the city of Cleveland who will be telling their stories about overcoming, not being survivors, but overcoming some mental illnesses, abuse. We have situations where the husband has cheated on the lady and the lady has decided to cheat on him. Now that's something.
Wow.
A lot of times in relationships where we deal with infidelity, we make some choices and they're not always good choices, but you'll be able to see yourself in at least one of these women who tell their stories, and especially the one that December Rose will be telling about abuse, because lately in the city of Cleveland we have seen so many women lose their lives dealing with abuse. And that's why I was so excited about having her take time from her busy schedule to come and tell her part about being in an abusive relationship.
Well, that's a blessing. Now, you shared with us about the play. Mm-hmm. I want my audience to know about Dr. Pamela because you have a story. You talking about overcoming. Mm-hmm. You have a story of overcoming.
Yes, let me see where to start. First of all, I felt that I was whole in a lot of the situations that I had been in. And one day, my son died. And that was a wake-up call. That was something that was meant to send me back in a whirlwind of when I had had a breakdown before. A lot of people don't tell that part about losing their mind. But I lost my mind, and only God fixed it where I didn't have any debris around me. Then when my son died, he died at 27, 28 years old. I felt myself slipping in the darkness again, but God held me together because I kept my mind stayed on him. Eventually, before he died, I ended up doing very well financially, and one day I ended up sleeping in my car, 10 below zero weather, with my son, covering him up with a quilt that my friend's grandma had made. A lot of people around me had no clue that I was homeless because I kept dressing up.
Amen.
And kept moving forward. And that's why I say deal, heal, and move forward. A lot of times when we get in a valley, when we're going through a valley experience, we don't always know to just reach up because God never left us. We don't have that kind of energy. We don't have that kind of understanding about just look up to the hills where your help comes from. And so that's what I started doing. I looked back in my life, and I always say, have a song in your heart. You know, and I reached back and I dug down deep and I had that song in my heart, and it helped me through. And now, with friends and family around me, I'm rising back to the top. The sister on the bottom is coming back to the top.
We want to tell the Lord thank you and
Thank you.
hallelujah.
Thank you.
And you know what, sis? We have just strengthen a sister or brother out there to hear that you can rise back to the top. And I remember going through with what you just experienced. You still had enough to keep going because you formed the organization.
Yeah, and I have an organization named Women of Destiny. It's 18 years old now, and I've met so many different women during that time. And so I'm on my ninth play. This is my ninth production. My ninth production, and I'm grateful that God keeps using my gifts. I say to a lot of people that when I die, my tombstone will say empty because I've used all my gifts. And so I encourage people to use your gift. Don't be
Amen.
afraid. Step out there. Whatever God gave you, use it to His glory.
Can we talk about some of the previous plays that you've written and we have come up until today?
I've written, my first play was called Tomorrow. My second play I did for Key Bank, and it was called Mirror on the Wall. Then I did Children of the Night, which was telling about sex trafficking. December Rose was a part of that too. She was on stage with me. I did Hard Times, and it was telling about being homeless and how my children's father had dealt with being schizophrenic, bipolar, and all the other mental issues he dealt with after being a postal worker, and how he was put back in the street every 30 days because of the system. The system doesn't follow through with mentally ill people, and how he lost his life down by Cleveland State University. These things that I write about, and if he ain't Mr. Right, he's Mr. Wrong. I wrote that play, and then I wrote a book about it. And I think that helped with a lot of relationships. So that's Pam.
And Dr. Pam, and it led us up until today.
That's right.
The upcoming play that you've written, and that's why we have Sister December Rose. So let's talk about that.
Okay.
Because we want them to come out and support.
That's right. December Rose is my role model about how you can come through some stuff and still survive it and overcome it. She's dealt with a lot of abusive relationships, and she's here today to tell us about how to become an overcomer.
Well, peace and good day, my sister, and welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Lady Gilmore. It's indeed an honor to be here today with Dr. Pam, Lady Gilmore. I'm just trying to regroup. I feel a little nervous, but definitely happy to be here today. I'm excited to be a part of the upcoming production, Pieces of Me. It's made me do some insight and reflection about where I was, where I am now, and by God's grace, where I will be moving forward in my life to live my best life.
Right.
That's what we're talking about. Live the best life.
Yes.
And in doing so, you have a role in the play, right?
Yes, I do.
So would you like to talk about that, Dr. Pam, and give us a snippet?
Okay. Something that Dr. Pam actually called it when I was in a previous play with her, Children of the Night, is poetic healing. I never thought about it in that respect. It was just a way for me to release pain, process the things I was going through, and go on my journey into healing. So I really never thought about it as a form of healing other people. There's a lot of embarrassment and shame about things that I've experienced in my lifetime. But in the process of overcoming, trusting God, and just writing it out and even dancing it out in a form of expression, it's helped me and also helped me to help others. And that's the part where I get the greatest joy, because it's so much bigger. It's so much bigger than me. and being transparent, because I said, I'm a private person.
You are.
I don't want to tell this. I don't want to tell that, because people do look at you funny. Some people do. They look at you differently. Like, oh, I thought she was smart. Did she really do that? Did she really put up with this? It's not about being smart or not. Abuse in all forms does not just go to being up in a certain social class, going to a certain school. It doesn't have any barriers as far as culture, race, or any of that. It is all around us and very real, and comes so close to home here lately that it's got to stop. People need to speak out about it. I'm part of that movement of speaking out about it and sharing what's happened to me, because it'll help other people, and I'm okay with that.
I am loving this moment. It came into my mind that I am my sister's keeper, and we are our sister's keeper. Sharing this program here today with domestic violence being at such a high rise, we are praying that our story today will help someone say to themselves, this is enough, and seek professional help and seek safety, because it's all about safety. Sister December, I noticed you have a piece of paper. What's on that paper?
I do. I have a couple of things here.
Okay.
One of the things that I'd like to share is that because of my history, I am a domestic violence facilitator. I do facilitation support groups with Beyond Abuse Project. With that, we do support, educate, and advocate for women in situations. And each one is different depending on where the woman is in her process, the resources that we're able to provide or connect her with. And the issue is safety. As you said, lady, it's safety. So that's our main question we ask. Are you safe? Are you safe? And we go from there.
Amen, amen, amen. We're all a little, settled right now, because this is such a subject that touches the heart. I'm blessed. After being married 47 years, my husband has never put his hands on me, but I've been around so many that have. And I'm also I'm the advocate myself for domestic violence. Are you safe? So, Dr. Pamela, when you began to write this play, and you said you selected certain sisters, did you select them through experience?
I selected them according to how I wanted them to display their character so it would reach the audience. I asked God, I said, who should I put in these people's places? And each actor was hand selected. They didn't come to try out for the play. They came because I called them. Some of them I knew personally. Some of them I had never known other than going to events that they were a part of or finding them on Facebook. However, from having Women of Destiny, I've met so many women who say things like, he's beating me because he loves me. That is one thing that has disturbed my soul. And when I chose the person to do the part about domestic violence and do her spoken word, I immediately focused on December Rose because I knew her story. The other ladies, I wanted them to display things that I knew were issues with women. Once we figure out that we may be broken, but we can be healed again. And that's why I picked these ladies. But I still was so concerned about these women losing their lives, Lady Gilmore, just losing their lives from feeling that he's beating me because he loves me. This is the only person that would care for me. You know, and one of the ladies, the husband tells her, you're no longer my eye candy. I can't even look at you anymore. Those kind of things that women go through daily, and sometimes they're hidden secrets or hidden hurts They don't know that they can reach out and touch another sister who may have gone through the same thing, and then they can find healing through other people being hurt.
Well, praise God. And what day, time, and place is this play going to take place at?
The place will be Holy Trinity, their Multicultural Arts Center. It'll be April 6, 2019, at 3 and at 7. And they can go to Eventbrite and purchase their tickets. Tickets are $30 per person, and the group rates can be purchased only through calling 216-240-7028.
Well, thank you. Aren't we giving away tickets? We can give out our number here at the station as well. It's 216-298-1554. And they can call in and win some tickets.
That's right.
How long is the play? What's the times? I didn't quite hear you.
The play is at 3 and at 7 p.m.
Okay. And that's a wonderful. I love Pastor and Michelle Clark.
Oh yes, I've known them
my
since I was
goodness!
young.
Isn't it a wonderful facility?
Yes, it is.
When I was a little girl, I went to Catholic school up the street, St. Edward's, and we would come down to Holy Trinity, and it still has some of the, ambiance that we had when I was going to school there, and how the Lord has allowed them. They just open up their hearts.
Oh yeah.
Just opening up to everyone. And this particular play, we want everybody to come. Excuse me, take the mic, please.
We want everybody to come. Everybody, all ages. However, we have it where children can come, but we advise you to decide if they are at a point where they can understand the different characters that are taking place. All right.
Amen, amen. That was my next question. Thank you so much. Our children see enough. They've gone through enough. And I'm glad that we brought up about the children. But I pray that children, not at this particular time with so much going on, this bullying has our children devastated.
Right.
Oh my goodness, and it's scary. So I'm glad you brought that up, Dr. Pam, that parents make the judgment call.
That's right.
Because we're talking about actual facts of how we have wind up in these particular situations.
That's right.
And Sister Rose, you and I have worked together on so many, many things, and I love you so much. But I always felt, but I never said anything until God said so. This is the time for us to expose and help our sister. Help her stay alive. How about that? Help her stay alive. And as you know, we all have witnessed that. We help them. We get them rescued. I remember we rescued a young lady with 3 children, got her in a safe place, and in 20 minutes she jumped out the window and went looking for him.
Yeah.
I know we have experienced that.
Right. It's
All
soul
of us.
ties, soul ties. Now, December Rose, can you give them just a little snippet of?
Yes. If I may share something before that. It's very important for people to understand that no woman wakes up and says, I think in my lifetime on January 15th, 2019, I'm going to be abused severely. That's something I want to put on my agenda, on my calendar for my lifetime. It doesn't happen that way at all. There are a number of things that happen during the course of her life that puts her in a certain state of mind, low self-esteem. I'm speaking from personal experience. Low self-esteem, not feeling loved or wanted. Those things happen, and in my particular case, it was a trust issue. That bond being broken when I was just a little girl. That was broken by my father. So if I can't trust someone who's supposed to protect me, and that's my first example of a male and the interaction of how I should be treated, then Who do I trust? And that sets a certain tone, and looking, not consciously really, looking for something familiar. And it sets a pathway down the street going into abusive relationships. And just because of the image that one has of herself. Not what she really is, but perception is reality for that person. It was for me. Mm-hmm. And that's the way it works. Based on that perception of oneself, the people that that woman is drawn to. Even in a room full of 100 healthy people, she will be drawn to that one that's familiar and will treat her the way she deserves. She needs to be treated. And it's not a good thing unless it's healthy. But that's how it happens. And then the pattern continues because that person says to her and beats her down mentally, emotionally, as well as the physical. It's not always the physical, but people don't have a clear definition of what abuse is. Even if a person does not lay hands on you, if they give the impression, and there's a fear factor, it's abuse. If they constantly say things to you, it's abuse. It sets the mind in a certain place, and after hearing it over and over and over and over, then it's believed. That same thing can happen if it's a positive thing. That's what it is. We're creatures of habit. So reinforcement of something, whether it's positive or negative, it becomes believed. Whether it's true or not, it's true for that person. So if I have a moment to do a snippet of a beginning that set me in a term, and then on into other forms of abuse, if I may do that.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Thank you. This one is called The Legacy of Me. They say I look like you, and it's good luck to resemble your father. But do they really know what they're saying? And would they still say it if they really knew? I'd like to say that the love you showed me could be passed on for generations to come. But in reality, it was far from pure and certainly inappropriate for a 6-year-old girl, your 6-year-old girl. I'd like to say that I held my head high and was filled with pride whenever you were near. But the truth is, I hid my head in shame and hoped no one saw you stagger to our porch in a drunken stupor. I'd like to say that I cried when you died more than 30 years ago because I was sad you went away. But in all honesty, you were gone long before you were gone, and I'm not sure if they were tears of joy, relief, or remorse. Yet I wondered if you knew that I loved you. I'd like to say that the apple falls far from the tree, and your issues were your issues, and they didn't affect me. But in reality, I looked in all the wrong places for the love I've never known, for the father I wish I had, to fix something I didn't break. I'd like to say that you left behind a confident woman, certain of her hopes, dreams, and goals, living life on her own terms. But the truth is, you left scars so deep in my heart that my emotionally bruised soul still cries the tears of a wounded child seeking approval. I'd like to say that time heals all wounds, and I will forgive and forget. Forgive and forget. But in all honesty, I don't know if all wounds heal in time. I will pray to forgive, and maybe, just maybe, I will forget. I will. forget. I will forget. I'd like to share something about suicide because it's come to my attention on YouTube. There's a YouTube TV. There's been a lot of controversy about it. It comes on. That's why it's so very important to see what's going on with our kids. It comes on, and maybe halfway through whatever's being shown, there's some kind of little Momo or yada yada character that comes on and actually gives instructions about suicide. These are our kids' minds that are being played with. It says it and then walks off and then it continues. Now, it's not at the very beginning because, you sit down and you put something on for your child and then walk away. So maybe a few minutes pass and this happens. So just being mindful of that. Just wanted to say a snippet from that. Dying to be heard and how important it is to pay attention to our children and just people around you because you never know. Attention, attention. The following is a broadcast of the emergency alert system. This is not a test. Tens of thousands free themselves annually, choosing to leave this world and in their misery. Help me. Speak life so I can live instead of just exist. Speak life to give me hope so I won't cut my wrist. This public service announcement has been brought to you on behalf of the 8.7 million people who seriously considered, the 2.3 million people who made plans, and the 1.1 million people who attempted, and those who no longer have a voice. Can you hear me now? And up to abuse. There she was, 40 years young, a sight for sore eyes. But on this day, her eye was sore, bruised by angry hands that claimed undying love. Love to control you, love to embarrass you, love to do what I want to do. I told her to make some noise. Your silence is so loud, I can't hear what you're saying. She is me, and I am her. I told her to make some noise. Your silence is so loud, I can't hear what you're saying. Please, make some noise. Your silence is so loud. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, my sister. Thank you. And thank you, Dr. Pamela. Thank you so much. I'm feeling in my spirit that we have helped someone that is silenced out there today. I know that was painful, Sister December, because I know you personally, but God had you to come here today to help save your sisters. Amen, amen. And thank you, Dr. Pam. Dr. Pam, our time is running out. Please give us the date, time, and the location, and we do want people to come and support.
Okay, Pieces of Me, April 6, 2019, at 3 and at 7 p.m. Be there.
Yes, be there. Be there. And thank you all for being here today. Thank you all. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
And as usual, what I say, because it is true, peace. And I love you.